Hey guys, welcome back to more Featherbent. Today we are going to play through Karkat's side of the story. So, let's go.
The floor is empty. A breeze skims the spaces, keeping the trees apart, grazing the hollows of abandoned nests. Lifeless fields framed by gnawed roots and spotted with patches of reburied dirt. A familiar note is produced. It's the one Desolation plays to keep its instrument in tune. Karkat Vontus has a feeling it's going to be a long day.
Alright. Examine nest. He crouches down to look into his nest. The hideaway beneath his tree remains as hollow as it was earlier that day, and as it had been hundreds of days before, save for the time John slept over a short while ago. John spent the night curled up in his obnoxiously blue cape, snoring softly. His glasses had been nudged crooked on his face. His wings twitched in his sleep. Did he even dream of flying? The memory of John sleeping is a little too clear for comfort. Karkat rests a hand against the bark to help himself get back to his feet. He looks up at the great mass that is his tree, a thick trunk that narrows as it climbs, spiked along the length of its body with bare, angular branches jutting out sharply from the bark. He chose this tree over all others in the forest because it was petrified, dead yet frozen in a fossilized shadow of its former self. All life within it slowly turning into stone. Though it might have been a better idea to take nest beneath a tree that wasn't threatening to collapse in on itself any given day, he doesn't regret his choice. For something to hold so steadfast to still reach such heights after it's gone, he can't help but admire it. Aside from his shovel and sickle, Karkat keeps his miscellaneous supplies packed neatly away in a bag beneath the tree for swift portability in case of emergency. He pulls the bag out and takes inventory. An old pencil nearly sharpened down to the nub, a thermos, a small collection of berries, 2 rocks, one about the size of his hand with a rough surface used for washing, and another, smaller, and with a finer surface used as a makeshift whetstone for his sickle. A modest collection of extra clothes. He's not proud of their origin yet. The clothes have arrived on the floor wearing would not last him forever, and the dead do not miss their belongings. Finally, there's a sheet of paper folded into a tight square and a single lime green feather. Karkat immediately realizes he is due for a trip to the loft. Karkat rolls up his sleeves and begins climbing.
The higher floor of the nest is not too far from the ground. A narrow crook leads into the second-story hollow of the petrified tree. A small space, just large enough to comfortably stand in. Stuck to the splintering walls are hand-drawn images of every person Karkat has ever buried, pinned with flight feathers of every corpse that found its way into his care. The artwork fluctuates in quality, as the portraits were hung over time with no rhyme or reason to their order. From shaky silhouettes to crisp lines, from vague shapes to shaded features, from tear-stained borders to rain-aged corners. His subjects would receive retroactive medical care for their wounds, gauze, bandages, stitches to cover their gore. His subjects would smile. Karkat unfolds the paper he brought with him and hangs it on the wall with a lime green feather. He prides himself on this secret place. He will remember them, if no one else will.
Ooh. Alright, time to return. Meet up with John.
John had been visiting the floor on a regular basis for the past few weeks. He always brought food and water, and spent the majority of his time teaching Karkat the science behind flight, which, contrary to Karkat's beliefs, wasn't as simple as flap your wings and go. Their lessons were peppered with casual conversations about trivial things Karkat could never remember afterward. John's intentions may have been honest, yet Karkat couldn't stop himself from feeling on edge with the new, constant presence. As Karkat liked to phrase it to himself, spending years in isolation on the brink of survival, didn't do much to equip him with satisfactory communication skills. If he were being honest, being around other people made him downright uneasy. He runs over preconceived topic starters in his head as he makes the trek to their normal meeting place. Karkat draws a blank as John catches sight of him and smiles.
Aw.
Good morning. Did you do your warm-ups today?
Yes. My wings haven't atrophied, you know. Why do I have to do these stupid exercises in the first place?
Your wings might be in decent condition, but you've never used them to fly before.
So, I use them for other things.
Like what?
Climbing. They give me leverage while climbing. See, once upon a time, I was struck by this brilliant fucking idea to live in branches in order to keep safe from predators. I ran with it right up until I got caught in a rainfall that knocked me on my ass and got me sick for a week. That's right about when I took to living underground.
That's depressing. But hey, it's a place to sleep. When you're down to the bare essentials, that's all you really need. Once we get you flying, though, maybe you'll be able to find a warmer nest higher off the ground. Speaking of which, should we get started?
Today? As in, right now?
Yeah.
No time like the present. Stall for time.
Any last-minute advice before I subject myself to my first session of humiliation?
Stop being such a downer. Of course you're going to suck. You're not going to learn anything by not sucking. It won't be easy. Actually, it's going to be a massive amount of work.
Man, John Egbert, fucking speech giver of the year here.
And you're going to fail. A lot. But don't feel bad. Mastering something new is 10% learning and 90% learning what not to do.
Man, what a good motivational speech.
That's actually a very sensible way to think about it.
Once you start flying, though, you suddenly realize how impractical all your clothes are.
And we're back. Look, you were contributing to the conversation by expressing a decent sentiment that actually carried some minute shred of enlightenment. Can we go back to that?
No.
Do you have any idea how many times I used to get caught up in my cloak because of a bad mid-air turn or something? It would probably be less of a hassle to just fly naked.
Please don't.
What? Get tangled in my cloak or fly naked?
Either of those fucking things.
I make no promises.
I want to stall for more
I've gone
time.
my entire life without flying, and I've been surviving so far. Maybe I'm fine down here.
You're on the forest floor as a starving outcast with about half the feathers you should have.
I'm alive, aren't I? So what if I never get off the fucking ground? Plus, this isn't exactly the most optimal teaching environment. It's cramped, it's dark, and it's cold. There isn't enough room to swing a stick around, let alone have two people trying to fly. You're wearing glasses, for fuck's sake. What prescription are those? What if they slip off midair while you're teaching me? Is my safety completely dependent on two flimsy fucking shards of glass?
Oh my god.
Look around you, Egbert. Look at all these big-ass trees. Do I look like I'm ready to be impaled on a branch because you just happened to lose your balance?
Holy shit, nice reference there.
I mean, hell, maybe I'm not meant to fly. Maybe my true calling is to live among the mushrooms, idling in dark places and being fed shit all my life until the only true enlightenment I ever experience is when the spirit of the forest pumps bioluminescent fuckery through my veins and turns me into a walking, talking glow stick.
You know, I didn't know someone so short could have so many words coming out of them all at once.
Holy hell.
Watch it.
This place is fine to practice in, dude. We're starting off vertically, remember? There's more than enough room to go up. And if the creator didn't want us to fly, he wouldn't have given us wings. Just saying. Besides, a glowing mushroom is probably the most boring thing you could possibly turn into. We couldn't even be proper friends. The most I could do with you is install you in my nest as a lighting fixture.
And I guess you have no choice but to take me home and mount me against your fucking wall.
Oh my god. That's one way to put it, I guess.
What? What did I say? I'm holding you personally responsible for every scratch, sprain, break, lesion, and/or case of spontaneous dismemberment that occurs as a result of this extremely sketchy plan of yours.
Looking away, Karkat unenthusiastically holds his arms out. John snickers and lifts him off the ground.
Alright, but Egbert Insurance doesn't cover floods, fires, or bald spots caused by plucking.
Fuck off. They'll grow back.
I don't know, man. With all the pulling you've done over the years, I would not be surprised if you permanently stunted their growth this time around.
Great. Saves me the trouble of doing it every few months.
Shh. Focus.
Holding Karkat's hands, John carries himself into the air, lifting the other boy effortlessly until the ground disappears from beneath his pointed toes. Somehow, Karkat hadn't expected John to be this strong. John gains height at a smooth, steady pace. Karkat feels his legs dangling in midair, and he urges himself not to look down.
Alright, remember what I taught you. Focus on how the air feels under your wings. Think happy thoughts.
Right, because I have so many of those just lying around my memories, locked and loaded for spontaneous recollection.
Jeez, such a downer. I'm going to start now. Deep breaths.
By controlling his own flight, John began to lower Karkat in smooth yet sudden movements. With every slight jolt, Karkat's wings flutter beyond his control. The hunter's stomach flips at each sensation of falling. With every lowering, his nerves bristle with ice-cold flashes of anxiousness. Pain from holding his own body weight sets into Karkat's shoulders. John repeats the process a few more times, flying in circles as he lowers Karkat to the ground and raises him up again, watching as Karkat becomes accustomed to the instinct of his wings moving to save him. Finally, Karkat's boots touch the ground.
Ugh. Fuck.
Dude, you look like you're about to hurl.
I'm not going to fucking throw up, it just feels weird.
Is it a bad weird?
I don't know. Dangling at the mercy of your grip isn't helping. It's hurting the hell out of my arms and it's fucking with my concentration. I don't know how much longer I can keep this up.
Shit, I'm sorry. I didn't think about that. It's the only way I could think of carrying you without our wings getting in the way. Unless...
Unless what?
Never mind, it's stupid.
You can't just start a fucking thought and not finish it.
Sure I can.
Just spit it the fuck out, will you?
According to Karkat, most of your thoughts are stupid, I'm sure, kid.
Well, I could hold you by the waist, and you could put your arms around my neck.
Is that all? Fucking hell, Egbert, that isn't anything to turn red over. Stop making an idiot out of yourself.
You're blushing too.
Like hell I am. Why would I be blushing? You're teaching me how to fly. End of story. It's not my fault you're mentally twisting this shit into some kind of perverted fantasy, you sick fuck.
Oh, yeah, sure. That's exactly what I'm doing.
John gingerly rests his hands on either side of Karkat's waist.
There is no way I am not getting off on this somehow.
Without breaking eye contact, Karkat lifts his arms and crosses his wrist behind John's neck.
Great. Can I learn how to fly now, please?
Duh, that's what I'm here for. But try opening your eyes this time. Maybe that will help with the sensation overload thing.
Karkat hadn't even realized his eyes had been shut. He nods and they begin again. Instead of focusing on feeling queasy, Karkat focuses on making sure John's glasses don't fall off. He concentrates on how much the distance between them and the heights of the trees were closing. He concentrates on exactly how much stupider John's hair looks from this specific angle.
Hey, I had a question. Remember how I spoke to Tavros a couple of weeks ago?
Here it comes. Are you going to ask why I've been ignoring him? Why I'm not falling all over myself, pissing in eagerness at the prospect of allying with other people living down here?
No, not really. After meeting him, I think I know the answer to both of those questions. He's weird, and I think he's engaged to his pet. What I wanted to ask was why you told him to run north?
North is a way out.
How so?
The northern border crosses over into the mountains. There's a watchtower there, like there is at every border. But I'm guessing it was abandoned once guards caught sight of what was up there.
What's up there?
Besides a winter wonderland? Predators. More dangerous than you'd find around here. Monsters with fangs and claws longer than people are tall, measuring more than an entire strata layer high. But you can survive if you're careful. Besides, for someone like him, risking death out there for a couple of days is a lot better than guaranteeing it down here during the sweep.
Here we go again with the sweep. Are you going to tell me what you mean by that, or are you going to follow everyone else and being annoyingly cryptic?
I am being annoyingly cryptic because I'm afraid if I told you what I had to do to survive, you'd worry to the point of mental breakdown and try to do something drastic.
Aww.
I'm not a worrywart. Give me some credit.
You took a 6-hour round trip to provide food to a stranger you knew all of 5 minutes. I give you no credit whatsoever.
Alright, new goal. Get you flying well enough to leave this place so you never have to do your secret horrible thing to survive the sweep ever again.
If you can accomplish that, I might actually take you up on it. Shit. Wonder whatever happened to my old understory nest. All my stuff was still there when I left.
Since you abandoned Nest, the mayor probably took it. You know how he likes hoarding.
I could not have entrusted my property to a better man. So, let me get this straight. You're going to teach me how to fly just as well as you do. Lead me back to the understory via a secret passageway, and take me to the mayor to get all my stuff back.
That's the plan.
What a fantastic idea. Of course I'm going to be able to fly just as well as a natural talent who's been doing it for years. I will hit absolutely no snags while passing through a back alley, which I can only assume isn't policed due to it being extremely dangerous, potentially deadly, and virtually unmaneuverable.
Alright, calm down with the sarcasm there,
There's
Karkat.
no way the mayor won't give up his belongings he's had for years just because I let him know I'm not actually dead. Oh, and let's not forget the fact I'm assumed to be executing. So I would have to expend the remainder of my already miserable existence in hiding, due to the fact I've technically escaped from prison.
There you go again, treading all over your dreams. One step at a time, man. You're here for this sweep. I'm going to train you so you won't be here for the next one. Whatever it is you do to survive, though. Would that mean Tavros is as good as dead if he doesn't do it as well?
Pretty much.
That's kind of sad. Seems like he's the only member of his community who's gone out and tried finding survivors.
Aw.
He's the only one in a very long time, actually.
Maybe he deserves a shot at something better than go north and try not to freeze to death.
Maybe.
Man, I didn't even know we had mountains up north.
Don't blame you. It's a long hike away. The mountains aren't counted as part of the strata.
Maybe it's just because I spent so much time in one tree, but it's so weird thinking about places that aren't part of the strata. Like, what else is there?
There's a whole world out there, John.
The strata doesn't encompass everything. Being here can make you forget that there are places in this world that aren't made of bark, and that aren't divided into arbitrary communal layers and rigid social classes based on some archaic caste system.
Karkat?
Places where the sky isn't obscured by leaves, and where the floor isn't riddled with bloodthirsty predators hiding around every fucking corner. There are places where you can look up at night and watch the stars. All of them. Blanketing the sky as far as the eye can see. And I want to stand under them one day.
Karkat,
Fuck's
Aw.
sake, I am trying to monologue here. What is it?
you're hovering.
Shit.
You're alright.
Aw.
It's alright.
Holy fuck, we're high up.
I know.
I can't believe. I mean, I didn't think. Did you fucking see that? Are you seeing this?
Dude, I'm right here. You aren't sucking nearly as bad as you thought you would. I'm proud of you. Are you proud of you?
Aww.
I am pretty fucking proud of me.
Good. You have a nice smile. I didn't expect that.
Piss off.
Their time together drifts into the late afternoon. After they get tired of practice, John presents Karkat with the celebratory first flight muffin he'd prepared ahead of time. Cranberry baked with cinnamon sugar. Karkat splits it between the both of them, and they talk until the light from a tree-cloaked sky paints over with the setting sun. Karkat sees John off. The former gathers some of his supplies and begins his trek to the grounds. It's nightfall by the time he starts working the field. Hour after hour, Karkat toils beneath the cover of cool blue light, a soft glow radiating from the mushrooms John had brought down for him. The hole Karkat digs now is not in the shape of a usual grave. It channels straight down, narrow, deeper than he is tall. In need of a rest, he climbs out and sticks his shovel in the dirt, leaning against the handle.
Look, if you're going to be my shadow, try not being so fucking obvious about it. You could cut out the heavy breathing for starters. It's creepy as hell.
I wasn't following you. I just happened to be in the area. I'm allowed to be in areas. It was a free floor last time I checked.
If living like this passes as being free for you, I don't want to hear how you were living before. Was there something you wanted?
Glancing around for a distraction, Tavros motions to Karkat's weapon lying in the dirt.
Nice sickle. You look a little young to be a Thresh-Executioner.
That's because I'm not.
Oh, does that mean you buried one around here?
How long have you been fucking spying on me?
I wasn't spying.
Sure, you
You were
weren't.
just in the area. I got it.
No. Actually, this is the first time I've ever been here. But Her Honor's trees are planted here, which means the killing fields are nearby, if not right above us. Not to mention the rectangular patches of dirt, and the fact you have a shovel you use to dig around here. There's also a very specific species of plant growing in this area that feeds primarily on decomposing corpses. I see it all the time around dead animals, especially the ones my friend Dante finds.
Your friend shows you dead animals he's found?
Yeah, no. Dante isn't human, so his behavior is marginally more acceptable.
Oh, he's that pet you're married to.
It's not like that, okay? I would appreciate it if you stopped taking everything John says at face value and spreading such disgusting lies and slander.
Don't worry, I don't really give a shit about your... rabbit? Beetle? Some kind of termite?
Dante's a snake, actually. He's big and white and really
Oh,
friendly.
he has a snake.
White?
Yep.
Missing an eye?
Yeah, actually. How did you know?
You have got to be fucking kidding me. You were right about the sickle. One of the bodies that fell down here belonged to a Threshocutioner. She still had her weapon on her. I didn't think much of it until I was burying her and I got blindsided by this white snake. I was able to grab the sickle and fight it off before it bit me. But I took out one of its eyes in the process. That sickle saved my ass, so I figured it might come in handy again one day.
That sounds like it was Dante. Usually he's very well mannered, I swear. But he doesn't like the color red. He hates it, actually. Sorry.
Good news for me, I guess. How the hell did you manage to rope a fully grown snake into being your pet anyway?
I don't know. I ran into him one day, on the floor. I was convinced he was going to eat me or something, and I remember being really scared. But I just, talked to him, one-on-one, like a person. And he understood me. We cross paths once in a while, and spend time together when we do. But we usually just stay out of the other's way.
Wait, you can talk to snakes? Who the hell are you?
He's an animal whisperer.
My name's Tavros Nitram. I'm captain of...
I'm not interested in what you do down here. I'm interested in what you did before.
Before? You mean before the floor? Well, I was a cartographer in my spare time, if that's what you mean, with my friend Aradia.
Oh.
You just casually did cartography in your spare time with the handmaid of Empress Patience.
A lot of the work was commissioned by General Ampora, and Aradia was the only one who got paid for it, but she'd invite me along sometimes. We're both from lower castes. She was the only friend I had growing up. She taught me a lot of what she knew, and she asked me to help her with her side projects. The point is, things were going well for a while. I hadn't felt that good about myself since before I lost my dad to the second call.
Aw.
That's rough.
Yeah, I looked up to him a lot. He was kind of my rock. He was strong, brave, and always trying to get me to believe in myself. He was my inspiration. But even after he was gone, I still had our nest all the way up in the canopy, and I was taking care of it. I was learning a good trade. I had Aradia. Then, several months ago, I got into a fight, and the other person, well, it ended in an accident. Things got broken. I lost a lot of blood. When I woke up in recovery, my wings were paralyzed, and I got sent down here.
Oh shit. So you're the one Vriska fought.
Accident?
It's a little more complicated than that, but all in all, yes, it was an accident. I mean, well, Vriska.
Wow, Vriska was involved. How does this not surprise me in the fucking slightest?
Her mom and my dad were on opposing sides during the second call, but I think they had a thing going on, and I know she really wanted to be like her mom, so I think she took that as a sign to track me down and court me? When I wasn't interested, she took it the wrong way. She challenged me for my nest, and I wasn't strong enough to defend it from her. I don't think she realized I was unconscious when she threw me out of it, so I landed funny, and then...
And then you're here.
Yeah,
Oh shit.
with my, community.
You're the only one I ever see actively looking for survivors. Doesn't sound like much of a community to me.
Well, it's not even a community. It's a group of people that pool supplies just to prevent everyone from killing each other down here. I thought if I found others, maybe we could establish a community and work together to help each other. But it's useless. Everyone's just in it for themselves.
Yeah, you gotta protect yourself first, dude.
So, you're admitting this whole captain of the floor patrol persona is complete bullshit?
No, it isn't bullshit. But I don't actually represent a community. Finding other survivors is what I want to do, so I set out by myself to do that.
Good to see you're finally standing up for yourself.
Well, you're the only one I've found, though, so I can't really tell people I'm doing this on my own without success, because it sounds lame and weird.
No. No, it actually doesn't. I'm going to take a wild guess and say that you have no fucking clue what happens during the sweep.
It's just a festival, isn't it?
On anywhere but the floor, sure. Let me give you a quick rundown. In about 8 days, a large group of predators is going to migrate across the forest floor. These predators measure 2 people tall and are covered head to toe in a thick shell that sprouts out in spikes, mostly around their head and back. They're incredibly strong and surprisingly fast. They breathe smoke and sweat steam.
Oh shit.
They're also thorough. From the way I've seen them sift through the branches and check under rocks and trees, I can tell they're not machines. They are fucking sentient. They are intelligent. And their primary motive is to kill every living thing they find. Because of this mindless fixation, I call them drones. I'm guessing this is why the Imperial Guards patrol entries to and from the floor and why people don't live down here. Do you believe me so far?
You're the one who's been here for years. I think it would be very unwise not to believe you.
Oh, you're scaring him, Carcat.
Thank you. And congratulations, you're the first person I've met down here with a fucking shard of common sense. I tried warning people about this the first few years I lived here. How there were precautions they had to take if they wanted to survive. Of course, without any solid proof, they wrote me off as stupid or mentally unstable. Eventually, I just decided to say, fuck it. I steer clear of other outcasts from then on. I let them be blissful in their ignorance. There's only so many people you can watch die before you disregard everyone as walking corpses.
How have you survived?
Stroke of luck the first time. I was sent down here, along with everyone else kept in the Empress's quarters. Those who were physically capable split into groups to get a feel for the area. One day, we made it all the way to the northern border. Even lived in the abandoned military watchtower for a little while. The other few members of my team caught sight of some weird animals in the mountains and booked it the fuck out. Except for me. I never saw creatures like the ones in the mountains before. They were massive. Bigger than anything I'd ever seen. They were far away. I figured it would be safe to observe them from that distance. I found them interesting, I guess. It was my decision to stay that saved my ass. I heard thundering footsteps from the floor. And screaming. From voices I
Oh
recognized.
shit.
I hightailed it from the watchtower straight into the mountains, hoping I wouldn't be hunted by the giant animals I saw in the snow. I saw some of the drones passing by from where I was. For a few moments, I could see the shapes of their shells. Smoke hissing from their mouths, curling off their bodies, tearing down the watchtower to rubble with their bare claws. Searching for something. Searching for me. I hid in the mountains
Holy
until I nearly
shit.
fucking froze to death. And after I crossed back into the strata, broken branches, ripped roots, overturned stones, blood around every corner nearby. I never saw anyone from my group again.
Poor child.
I dug out the supplies I could from the destroyed watchtower. They left. I don't know what the drones do with the bodies. And I don't think I want to.
Tavros' shoulders shake. His breaths come quick and shallow.
Shit, shit, shit! Why does everything have to be so incredibly fucked up? I thought I could make things easier. I thought I could make the best of it. That it wasn't so bad, maybe. Living on the floor.
He clenches his fists and squeezes his eyes shut tight.
I can't die down here. What would my dad say?
Karkat rests a hand on Tavros' shoulder.
If you left now, you might be able to reach the northern border and cross into the mountains before the sweep hits. But there's another way.
Like what?
Karkat motions toward the hole he was digging, then to a large scratched-top hunk of dirt nearby, about the same circumference as the hole
I
itself.
was in there digging out a part that was collapsed in on itself. I got the idea from a spider I ran into once. You crawl into the hole, wedge the patch of dirt back over the hole, and squeeze your way to the very bottom, feet first. It's a good 10 feet or so down. It's claustrophobic as fuck, but from my experience, drones have shitty eyesight and subpar scent tracking, which means they rely mostly on hearing. If you get in there, and you're quiet, they won't find you. The sweep lasts about 12 to 14 hours. Considering how large the floor is, the fact they search the entire place that quickly means drones pass through in a flock, migrating across the expanse. Taking into the account the extra time you want to stay down there just to be sure they've all left, that's a good 20 hours standing up at the bottom of a hole in the ground. Main problem? You need to use your wings to help you climb back up again. Meaning if you get in there, you can't get out unless I help you. We have a few more days. I can dig one for you in the meantime. The important question is whether or not you trust me enough to come back for you.
Tavros rises to his feet. Karkat follows. Tavros wipes his eyes and nose on the back of his sleeve.
Sorry for breaking down. That was embarrassing.
Dude, I'm pretty sure anyone in this situation would though. Like, honestly, if I found out that there was a fucking sweep that was just going to wipe out everything that I knew, including me, I would be terrified too.
Don't be. It's a lot to take in all at once.
I think it's worth saying that, yeah, I do trust you. You're straightforward, and you don't sugarcoat things. Being direct, not messing around, these are all qualities of someone worth trusting. I don't know why you're trusting me, of all people, with this, but I appreciate you giving me this chance.
Just paying it forward, I guess. If I can say there's one person.
Karkat shakes his head and offers his hand.
Are you with me?
Tavros' smile flickers across his face as the boy reaches back to shake Karkat's hand.
I'm with you.
Good. Please save Tavros.
Time passes. The morning of the sweep is less than 12 hours away.
Over the past few flight lessons, Karkat grew to master the technique behind his own lift. He can effectively cover short vertical distances without assistance, a skill that would only improve. John assured when his flight feathers fully regrew.
The lack of feathers is also affecting your sensitivity to wind pressure. You need that for normal flight.
So basically I can only get better once shit grows back in.
Basically, we'll come back to it after the sweep. Speaking of which, there's something I need to tell you.
What's that?
I'm still spending the holiday at Vriska's tomorrow.
Why wouldn't you be? You made a commitment to be hosted for the sweep, didn't you? You'd be an idiot to decide otherwise.
Yeah, but I thought you didn't like Vriska.
I don't, but who the hell am I to dictate who you can and can't be friends with? You just met me, for fuck's sake. My opinion of her is immaterial as long as she's treating you well.
What a good guy.
Just be careful.
Thanks. I still feel crummy for leaving you here on your own, though, so I wanted to give you something.
Are they muffins?
Do you want them to be?
No. Maybe.
I was planning to bring down more food, sure. But that's not the main thing. The main thing is a surprise.
What is
Oh.
it?
Okay.
Something wrong?
I if we're being honest, I kind of feel uncomfortable accepting all this shit from you.
What? Why?
I don't have anything to offer.
Dude, you don't need to have anything to offer. I'm just doing what I can. You know you don't owe me anything, right?
Aww.
I know, but you're already spending every other day with me and teaching me how to fly and basically fucking cooking for me too. You don't mean for me to feel like a charity case, but sitting on my hands while you waltz into my life and shower generosity all over my existence doesn't exactly help build my pride either. I really appreciate everything you're doing for me. And I know you don't want me to feel indebted to you, but I don't have anything to give back right now. I'd feel better accepting things from you if I did. I'm still having a hard time trying to process everything you're already doing for me.
I think I can see where you're coming from. I'm really sorry if I'm being awkward about this. This is the first time I've ever been around someone who...
Who what?
Nothing.
No, John, spill the beans. I'm intrigued now.
We're meeting 2 sunrises after the sweep. No sooner.
Okay,
Promise me.
I promise. Something really bad is about to go down, isn't it?
Not if everything goes as planned. It's not like I haven't been through this a few times.
Yeah, but I can't shake this stupid feeling there's a chance I won't see you again.
Would that be all that big of a deal? I'm sure the world would turn without me.
Yeah, but it'd be a way less interesting world. You may be kind of an asshole, but I like being around you.
Aww.
And you are one of the most vapid, scatterbrained, pastry-obsessed morons I've ever had the pleasure of spending time with.
Thank you.
Thank you for teaching me how to fly. And for the million other things that have improved my life that you've inexplicably dedicated time toward being responsible for.
Anytime.
I don't know what the fuck I did to deserve someone like you tumbling aimlessly and ass-first into my minuscule and possibly insignificant life, but in some backwards, fucked up, vaguely masochistic way, I'm glad for it. I'm really fucking glad for it.
Karkat?
Staring at the ground, Karkat feels his fist tighten, his nails digging hard into his palm. His heartbeat pounds inside the walls of his head, and he finds himself annoyed, angered by the fact that his nerves have steeled through life and death, yet dare to tremble in the face of something as small as this. I'm intrigued. An uncertain step forward, a short breath, and he slips his arm around John, knitting his fingers at the middle of John's back as he pushes his face into the other boy's shoulder. John feels tense at first, but he relaxes with a laugh and hugs back.
Dude, I swear to God, I thought you were gonna punch me in the face.
Why in the fuck would I do that?
You looked really mad.
I'm not.
Well, I know that now.
John rests his cheek in Karkat's hair.
You're really warm.
No, you're just fucking cold. Have you felt your hands lately?
It's not me, man, I'm telling you. All that anger you keep bottled up is just generating way too much heat. You're like an attractive, shaken up soda of
You
frustration.
called him attractive.
Sodas don't generate heat, dumbass.
I can feel you smiling in my shoulder, moron.
Whatever.
John's eyes fall half-lidded, his brow pulls together in concern. John squeezes Karkat a little tighter.
Good luck tomorrow, Karkat.
Thank you.
Sunlight creeps between the trees, marking daybreak of the sweep. Karkat continues digging. His shawl is tied around his fists, wrapped tight enough for his fingertips to grow blue, and his knuckles to grow ivory. The skin of his palms raw from his overnight work. From around the corner, a rust feather appears.
Neither of them exchange words during the burial. As Tavros minds his wings and lowers himself into the hideaway, his scarf gets caught in the entrance. The scarf is far too cumbersome to squeeze into the limited space under Gruff. Karkat relieves Tavros of the scarf and ties it around himself instead. Tavros slides beneath the ground until his heels reach the bottom of the dugout. He looks up at the several inches keeping him from the surface and at the large wedge of grass Karkat moves to plug up the hole with.
Karkat?
I'll come back for you. I promise.
Tavros nods as the ceiling slides into place and his view disappears. His shovel, bag, and sickle at the ready, Karkat takes the grassy top off his nearby hideaway, glimpsing into the familiar tunnel he'd carved into the earth. There's ample room near the bottom of the hole in which to store his possessions. He slides in his bag before he catches the movement in the bushes. Cursing sharply under his breath, Karkat draws his sickle.
Karkat? What's going on out there?
Quiet!
The rustling grows louder. Karkat whips his head around. Giant, sleek, white. A thin tongue darts from the great creature's mouth as it stares the boys down with a single beady eye. Karkat is suddenly all too aware of the scarf conspicuously wrapped around his neck, of the freshly used shovel on the ground nearby.
Dante, right? I'm guessing there's no point in saying this isn't what it looks like.
Dante lunges. Karkat doesn't know if it's memory or reflex that raises his weapon in defense. The snake pushes its weight forward and opens its jaw wider, revealing the cavernous depths of its throat, breathing in to taste the very steel that blinded it. In case you guys are wondering, I've recorded all of the episodes of Featherbent today, so I'm still not able to talk, apparently. Karkat squeezes his eyes shut. He holds the beast back with a force that burns in his arms and makes his hands shake. By the time Karkat notices Dante's tail whip toward him, it's too late. Karkat is tossed through the air, his back landing hard against a nearby tree with a sickening crash. He slides to the ground. Sharp pains immediately send shockwaves through him. The grass crunches with Dante's quick approach. Karkat attempts to stand, but his feet slip from under him. He feels a radiating agony growing throughout his body. He feels liquid leak from himself as make his clothes grow wet, but he can't tell which parts of him are hurt or which parts of him are bleeding. He tries to focus on the ghost closing him, but dizziness blurs his vision. His body feels a few pounds too heavy, his head a few pounds too light. Karkat hears a noise in the distance, muffled by the ringing in his ears. The giant form freezes in its tracks. Karkat raises a shaky arm and leans against the tree to help him stand. By the time his head clears enough to perceive his surroundings properly, all he catches is the tail end of Dante slithering into the shade. Karkat hears the noise ring out once more, the sound no longer muted by disorientation. The bottom of his stomach falls out. Karkat reins in the sudden rush of adrenaline to get on his feet and move while skirting the pain, bracing himself and biting his inner lip hard enough to bleed. He throws himself to the ground in his hideaway frenzy's hand, shoving the majority of his belongings down the hole. Feet first, he guides himself down. His mangled wing catches onto the entrance. The odd angle at which it broke prevents him from closing his wings completely. The pause allows him to look around himself, forcing him to take notice of the great trail of blood he's left behind. Staying here means leaving the blood. Blood means jeopardizing both his own and possibly Tavros' respective positions. Thinking quickly, he lifts himself out of the ground, reaching in to grab a sickle and Tavros' scarf before sliding the top back onto his hideaway. On his hands and knees, he mops up what blood he can using the scarf, blending the rest of it in with the surrounding dirt. The panicked Tavros calls out from underground.
Karkat! Karkat!
Jesus fucking Christ.
You need to keep quiet. No matter what happens, keep quiet.
Okay.
Searing pain flashes through him as he crawls backwards, wiping away all traces of himself while he leads his bleeding away from the scene. He reaches the brink of the forest before getting to his feet. He ties Tavros' scarf around his waist to apply pressure to his wounds. His breath grows labored. His pain is far too intense to fly. From there he walks, a staggered hobble to a step, a weak hand pressing the scarf's fabric to his wound. His opposite finger is wrapped tightly around a bloodied sickle. He walks the long path back home. He walks so Tavros isn't discovered and torn apart. He walks so John will find what is left of him and never return to the floor. Karkat eventually makes it to his tree. With great difficulty, he